It's a well-known fact that the Dome of the Rock occupies the Temple Mount, that mount upon which two Jewish temples stood in the past. Many Christians and Jews alike anticipate the day in the future when, according to the prophecies in the book of Ezekiel, a third temple will sit on that site, at least somewhere on that mount. As we think about a third temple, I think we may focus so much on a glorious edifice and the redemption of our faith and the roots of our faith that we may not actually think about how the daily operations of the temple would be carried out. For instance, what might sacrifice look like? How would it be carried out? Who would do it? What process would be involved in that? There is a group who are actually doing sacrifice. They are the Samaritans who live now on Mount Gerizim, and we're going to go there later and take a look at what the Samaritan Passover sacrifice would look like. Mount Ebal, the biblical Mount of Cursing, sits above the modern city of Nablus, of which you can only see a small portion from Mount Gerizim where I'm standing. The city was Shechem in ancient times, Abraham's destination as he arrived from Ur of the Chaldees, and site of Joshua's recommissioning of the Israelites as he placed half on Mount Ebal and half on Mount Gerizim to hear the law. Now Nablus is an Islamic city. However, the Samaritans still dwell here and yearly offer the Passover sacrifice. Some 700 to 800 Samaritans are outnumbered by almost 4,000 observers who clamor onto every rooftop to get the best view of the Samaritan Passover proceedings. The sunset will usher in that day of memorial of Exodus from slavery in Egypt.
כן, אבל אנחנו זה Until the middle of the 20th century, it was believed that the Samaritans came from a mixture of transferred peoples upon the conquest of Israel by Assyria in 722 BC. However, Samaritans teach that almost 30,000 of them were not deported in that conquest and have been continuously in the land of Israel for over 3,600 years. The Samaritans claim direct descendancy from the tribes of Joseph, being Ephraim and Manasseh, and have a high priesthood descending directly from Aaron, the brother of Moses. The scriptural references to the Samaritans do not portray them negatively. For instance, the Good Samaritan, that story, the woman at the well who shared her story with her entire community, and the only one of 10 lepers healed who returned to offer thanks to Jesus for what he had done for him. The word Samaritan comes from the Hebrew word Shomronim. The Samaritans say that even though their tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, lived east of the Jordan River, that at the return from Babylon they settled in Samaria all the way through the beginning of the Christian era. The Samaritans derive their name not from the geographical location of Shomron, but rather the root is from the Hebrew word shomrim, or guardians, as in guardians of the law. Religiously, they are adherents to Samaritanism, which they claim is based on the Torah alone. Samaritans claim that their worship, as opposed to mainstream Judaism, is the true religion of the ancient Israelites, and that it predates the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. A trench has been prepared with barrels to catch the blood of the sacrificed lambs. Over this trench, the lamb will be slaughtered and separated into portions belonging to the Lord, portions belonging to the priest, and portions for the family, that they may eat the Passover. Children are included in every phase of the Passover, as is also true in mainstream Judaism, to impress upon them from a young age the gravity of sacrifice unto the Lord. Young assistants fuel the fire pits over which the sacrificed lambs will later be roasted. The portions belonging to the Lord are placed upon a special altar, salted and burned. The fat and blood of the lamb was to be offered up as a burnt offering.